Hi, I'm John Hood. I'm the author of a series of historical fantasy novels called the Folklore Cycle. The first book of the series, Mountain Folk, was published last year. The second book in the series is called Forest Folk, and it's about to be published. This is the fifth in a series of videos we've prepared to give you an advance look at the world of forest folk. That world is wider and wilder than the setting of my first book. The action of forest folk ranges across North America from Upper Canada and New York's Hudson River Valley to Chesapeake Bay, the Blue Ridge Mountains, and Tallapoosa County, Alabama. While some scenes unfold in the growing cities of 19th century America, natural landmarks such as rushing rivers, Great Lakes, high mountains, and of course deep dark forests serve as stages where the characters of forest folk perform. I'm standing on one of those stages right now, a landmark in Western Virginia called Natural Bridge. A native tribe, the Monacans, revered this huge natural bridge as the site of a legendary victory over their enemies, the Powhatan Confederation of Eastern Virginia. Natural Bridge is more than 200 feet high and spans 90 feet across Cedar Creek, which flows into Virginia's James River. Far in the distant past, there was a raging river here, not a trickling creek, and it flowed through an underground tunnel. The Rock Bridge is the only remnant left of that tunnel. Its legacy isn't limited to the name of the place I'm standing, Rockbridge County, Virginia. Legends abound. One of them is that back in 1750, there was a young surveyor named George Washington who came here and carved his initials GW on the rock wall of the bridge and on a stone that he threw over the bridge. Sometime later, Thomas Jefferson bought the property from King George III, and he built a small cabin that he used as an occasional retreat from his governmental duties as Secretary of State, Vice President, and finally, President. The very first chapter of Forest Folk depicts one of those visits. Local militia Colonel Samuel Houston, his little son Sam, pioneering African-American educator John Chavis, and young Sam's new friend Davy Crockett happened to be camping on the site when Jefferson, Tennessee Governor John Sevier, Kentucky Governor Isaac Shelby, and the famous Daniel Boone all appear out on the bridge. What happens next? Well, you'll have to read the book to find out. A very different and even more famous landmark that's featured in Forest Folk is Niagara Falls. It's a collection of 3 separate waterfalls, actually, and it's found about 17 miles north of Buffalo, New York, along the border of the Canadian province of Ontario. It was also a site revered by local Indians. Indeed, the name Niagara is said to derive from the name of an Iroquoian-speaking people called the Niagara, which may have meant something like people of the thundering waters. Much of my tale unfolds along the banks of 2 great lakes, Erie and Ontario, that are connected by the northward flowing Niagara River. In the early 1800s, this region was still dominated by thick forests of maple, oak, birch, and pine. Let me tell you about 2 other landmarks that grace the pages of Forest Folk. One is a place in Chatham County, North Carolina that's called the Devil's Tramping Ground. Although it's likely the residue of a natural salt lick, this strangely barren circle of ground has inspired many myths, legends, and ghost stories. And then there's Pilot Mountain, also in North Carolina, called Jomioki, or Great Guide, by the Sara Indians. Pilot Mountain was such a crucial setting for my first novel, Mountain Folk, that its distinctive dome is visible on the back cover. In the new book, a fairy named Gorin returns to Pilot Mountain, searching for clues to where his people, the Sylphs, have gone after the end of the Revolutionary War. In future videos, I'll show you even more of the fantastic world of Forest Folk. You can always go learn more for yourself by visiting the book's website, which can be found at forestfolkbook.com. While there, you can learn how to order the book as a paperback, as an ebook, or as an audiobook. See you soon!